Oda Nobunaga was history's ultimate ruthless samurai innovator. He earned the terrifying and legendary title of the Demon King of the Sixth Heaven. He shattered centuries of traditional samurai warfare by fully embracing foreign gunpowder. He brutally massacred thousands of warrior monks who dared to defy his absolute rule. He shattered an invincible cavalry charge using revolutionary, rotating firearm tactics. He rose from a mocked provincial fool to become the absolute master of central Japan. He was violently betrayed by his most trusted general at the height of his supreme power. He committed ritual suicide inside a burning temple, and his body was never recovered. His unmatched ruthlessness laid the bloody foundation for a completely unified Japanese nation. This is the breathtaking chronicle of the first great unifier of Japan. The legendary warlord was born in 1534 in the turbulent, war-torn province of Owari. Japan was completely consumed by the Sengoku Jidai, a chaotic era of endless, bloody civil war. As a teenager, Nobunaga was incredibly eccentric, dressing in bright, bizarre foreign clothes. He constantly ignored strict samurai traditions, earning the humiliating nickname, the Fool of Owari. When his father died suddenly, the young Nobunaga shocked the entire clan at the funeral. He violently threw ceremonial incense directly at the altar in a massive fit of rage. This deeply disrespectful act caused his most loyal mentor to commit suicide out of pure shame. Realizing his massive mistakes, Nobunaga instantly matured into a cold, calculating military genius. He ruthlessly eliminated all internal rivals within his own clan, including his own younger brother. By 1559, he had completely unified the fragmented Owari province under his absolute iron grip. In 1560, a massive rival army of 25,000 samurai marched directly toward his borders. The invading force was commanded by Imagawa Yoshimoto, one of the most powerful warlords in Japan. Nobunaga commanded a pathetic defending force of barely 3,000 desperate, outnumbered men. His terrified generals begged him to surrender or barricade himself inside his defensive castles. Nobunaga famously performed a traditional death dance, declaring that human life was completely fleeting. He led his tiny army into the dense, forested hills, completely ignoring conventional military wisdom. A massive, violent thunderstorm suddenly erupted, perfectly masking his army's stealthy movements. The arrogant Imagawa troops were completely relaxed, drinking and celebrating their assumed victory. Nobunaga launched a terrifying, lightning-fast ambush directly into the center of the enemy camp. His desperate warriors completely shattered the enemy command tent and decapitated Imagawa Yoshimoto. The shocking victory at the Battle of Okehazama made Nobunaga an overnight national legend. He forged a permanent, unbreakable military alliance with a brilliant young warlord named Tokugawa Ieyasu. Nobunaga created a terrifying new official seal that read Tenka Fubu, meaning rule the empire by force. He actively welcomed European merchants and Christian missionaries to secure highly advanced weapons. He aggressively purchased thousands of foreign matchlock muskets, completely changing Japanese warfare forever. In 1568, he proudly marched his unstoppable army directly into the ancient imperial capital of Kyoto. He installed a puppet shogun to legitimize his absolute control over the Japanese central government. When the puppet shogun inevitably rebelled, Nobunaga violently crushed him and dissolved the entire shogunate. He faced massive resistance from the Iko-Iki, a fanatic religious movement of armed peasant monks. In 1571, he marched his veteran army to the sacred Mount Hiei, the spiritual center of Japanese Buddhism. The fierce warrior monks of Mount Hiei had interfered in his military campaigns for the final time. Nobunaga ordered his men to completely surround the holy mountain and set the entire forest on fire. His ruthless soldiers systematically slaughtered thousands of fleeing monks, women, and innocent children. He completely burned hundreds of ancient, priceless temples directly to the ground without a drop of mercy. This terrifying massacre permanently destroyed the political power of the Buddhist monasteries in Japan. He continued his brutal war against the Ikoiki fanatics at the heavily fortified Nagashino complex. He surrounded their coastal fortresses with wooden palisades and deliberately starved them into submission. When the desperate rebels finally surrendered, he trapped 20,000 of them inside and burned them alive. His absolute lack of mercy terrified every single rival warlord across the Japanese archipelago. In 1575, he faced his greatest military challenge against the legendary Takeda clan at Nagashino. The Takeda army possessed the most feared and invincible heavy cavalry in all of ancient Japan. Nobunaga deployed 3,000 peasant conscripts armed with slow-loading matchlock muskets. He constructed a massive defensive line of loose wooden fences along a shallow, muddy riverbank. He organized his gunners into 3 rotating ranks to maintain a completely continuous wall of lead. The proud Takeda cavalry charged blindly into the muddy river, expecting to easily crush the peasants. Nobunaga's disciplined gunners unleashed devastating, synchronized volleys that completely shattered the cavalry charge. The invincible samurai elites were utterly slaughtered before they could even reach the wooden barricades. The historic Battle of Nagashino permanently ended the era of traditional sword and spear warfare. Nobunaga commissioned the construction of massive, heavily armored ironclad warships to control the seas. He used his naval dominance to completely choke off enemy supply lines during massive castle sieges. He ordered the construction of Azuchi Castle, a towering, magnificent fortress unlike anything Japan had ever seen. The colossal castle was covered in gold leaf and served as the physical symbol of his absolute authority. He implemented revolutionary economic policies, abolishing toll gates and destroying dangerous trade monopolies. He actively encouraged free market capitalism, making his controlled territories incredibly wealthy and prosperous. He confiscated massive amounts of swords and weapons from the peasant class to prevent future armed rebellions. He conducted vast land surveys to accurately measure agricultural output and centralize all state taxation. He possessed a deeply ruthless temper, frequently ordering the execution of servants for minor mistakes. He famously ordered a vassal to murder his own wife simply because he suspected her of political treason. Despite his immense cruelty, he promoted men based entirely on their proven military merit rather than bloodline. He elevated a common peasant named Toyotomi Hideyoshi to the supreme rank of a top commanding general. By 1582, he had successfully conquered the vast majority of the Japanese main island of Honshu. He was incredibly close to fulfilling his ultimate dream of completely unifying the entire Japanese nation. He traveled to Kyoto to rest at the Honno-ji temple with only a tiny, unprotected personal bodyguard. He sent his best generals, including Hideyoshi, far away to fight on the distant western front lines. His trusted veteran general, Akechi Mitsuhide, suddenly marched a massive army directly into the capital. Mitsuhide notoriously declared that the true enemy was waiting peacefully at the Honno-ji temple. 10,000 heavily armed rebel samurai completely surrounded the small temple compound in the dead of night. Nobunaga was abruptly awakened by the terrifying sounds of clashing steel and thousands of screaming soldiers. Realizing he was completely betrayed, he grabbed his famous bow and shot arrows until the string violently snapped. He then drew his razor-sharp spear and fiercely defended the wooden hallways against the invading traitors. Recognizing that escape was completely impossible, he retreated deep into the inner chambers of the burning temple. He ordered his loyal young page, Mori Ranmaru, to set the remaining building completely on fire. Nobunaga calmly performed traditional seppuku, cutting open his own stomach as the roaring flames consumed him. His loyal followers desperately ensured that his head was completely destroyed by the inferno. The traitor Mitsuhide frantically searched the ashes but was never able to find the Demon King's body. Nobunaga perished at the age of 48, leaving his massive, unified empire completely paralyzed. The shocking assassination triggered an incredibly violent and rapid race to avenge his sudden death. His peasant general Hideyoshi immediately signed a desperate peace treaty and force-marched his army back east. Hideyoshi completely crushed the traitor Mitsuhide at the Battle of Yamazaki just 13 days later. Hideyoshi utilized Nobunaga's massive military foundation to eventually finish unifying all of Japan. Following Hideyoshi's death, Nobunaga's old ally Tokugawa Ieyasu seized absolute control of the entire country. The legendary Tokugawa shogunate would go on to rule Japan peacefully for over 250 years. A famous Japanese proverb states that Nobunaga mixed the dough, Hideyoshi baked it, and Ieyasu ate the cake. Nobunaga successfully proved that absolute, ruthless innovation was the only way to survive a chaotic era. He single-handedly shattered the ancient, romanticized traditions of samurai honor through pure gunpowder efficiency. His name became an eternal legend, celebrated and feared for centuries in countless global theatrical productions. During the modern era, his powerful legacy represents both the pinnacle of statecraft and the depths of tyranny. Historians still study his strict economic codes to understand the brutal efficiency of early centralized bureaucracies. His inspiring and terrifying legacy directly paved the way for Japan to become a unified global superpower. Today, vibrant museum exhibits and breathtaking historic castles celebrate his incredible ambition across the globe. His epic life continues to heavily inspire major characters in global anime shows, complex video games, and modern films. He successfully rose from a mock teenage eccentric to become the most iconic warlord in Eastern history. He demonstrated that a single ruler's sheer willpower could completely reshape the cultural geography of a nation. His unique blend of military innovation and ruthless suppression heavily influenced Asian politics for countless generations. He spent his entire youth working tirelessly to explore the truth and maintain the ultimate dominance of his clan. The master military architect left behind an eternal legacy of unmatched physical bravery and supreme central authority. He successfully balanced the complex logistics of ancient warfare with a massive scale of civilian economic engineering. His life remains history's greatest example of ultimate individual power maintained through absolute systemic fear. From his quiet youth, as the provincial fool, to his final legendary breath in the flames, he was unmatched. He permanently redefined the boundaries of human ambition and imperial leadership for many generations to come. He remains an immortal icon of Eastern history who chose raw imperial glory over a peaceful legacy at every turn. The world will likely never see another megalomaniacal visionary quite like the Demon King of Japan. Smash that like button if you were blown away by this ancient legendary samurai warlord. Subscribe to Stickman Chronicles right now to join our growing community of history lovers. We upload brand new history videos every single day, so you never miss an epic tale. Leave a comment below letting us know which historical figure we should cover in our next video. Thank you so much for watching this deep dive into ancient political spirit. See you tomorrow for another wild story on Stickman Chronicles. Stay curious and never stop exploring the incredible mysteries of our shared human past. Remember that the greatest empires are built not just with swords, but with revolutionary ideas.